Last week, we established that your experience is greatly influenced by your perception, and your perception is fueled by an information or by an interaction with an ideology. The wrong perception can use a lie to tell the truth, and it can also use the truth to tell a lie. The deception in the garden that caused the fall of man was not entirely a lie, neither was it the truth. The serpent used the truth to tell a lie, and that deception based on faulty perception caused the fall of man. Meaning, it is not everything that is true that is the truth, and it is not everything that is good that is right. What is right is where God leads, and what is truth is what He says. If the enemy has been able to sell you a lie in so much that it appears to be true, he doesn't need to lift a finger to bring you down. A distorted mind can trigger its own collapse. Thought patterns and faulty perception are very powerful strongholds. They sum up to what we call our behavior, how we think, how we perceive, and how we respond. When you notice a recurring pattern, whether it's fear, anger, bitterness, or a specific mindset, trace what fuels it, what sustains it, what gives it life. As I've said before, two things shape your perception: a set of information and an ideology born out of an interaction. In the same way, if you want to build a new positive mindset, seek out information aligned with the ideology that you want to adopt. Surround yourself with ideas and an environment which supports the perception that you wish to cultivate. Now back to 2 Corinthians 10 verse 5. The Bible said that these behavioral patterns must be held captive to the obedience of Christ. Last week we spoke about holding these thought patterns captive. Today we'll be talking about holding them captive to the obedience of Christ. Now that's another deep contemplation. Christ, or Christos in Greek, is not the name of God. If Christ is not one of the names of God, who then was Jesus the Christ? What is this Christ that my thoughts should be held captive in obedience to? Christos is an anointing to execute a mission. Jesus Christ was an operation God executed by Himself to bring salvation to man. Christos is an operation. It's like an administrative office to birth God's purposes. The weapons of our warfare that wields the might of God to the pulling down of stronghold means that we must force every thought pattern and perception into submission to what God called you to be, to your mission, to the Christos at work in your life. In summary, what this text is saying is that be careful about the information that is sown in your heart, and be careful about the ideology that you interact with. Learn to view everything only through the lens of, number one, the knowledge of God, and number two, the Christos over your life. These are the weapons of warfare that tears down stronghold in whatever form it chooses to appear. God bless you.